You've done some of those acoustic shows rather recently. I remember it was a New Year's Eve gig with Aaron Lewis, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was terrifying for some reason. Yeah, I was
in Vegas.
Yeah, no, in Tampa, Florida.
Tampa. Okay.
I was scared to death for no other reason than I was just scared to death. I mean, I'm like, we're in this auditorium and the place was packed, and I'm like, oh, there's no turning back now, man. This is real, you know? And, like, if it's your show, you can kind of hem and haw and get through it and blah, blah, blah. When you're open for Aaron, he's done this so many times that I'm just like, oh, God, what am I going to do? So my wife, like, just out of the gate, she tells me, she's like, do something to goof it up. I mean, just do something, play the Different Strokes song. And I did. Mm-hmm. And I opened with the Different Strokes theme song. And the audience lost their minds. They were like, really? They were singing along. I was like, really? I was like, all right, here we go. And then it turned into a really good time after that.
I would ask you the question of put that you naked essentially with a guitar up against something like maybe your first Leno performance doing Bother. I remember you telling me that story years ago. About doing the Leno show and just how nervous.
Oh yeah,
you were.
Yeah. It took a lot of Jack and Coke to get me on that thing. Okay. And I actually write about that in the book. In the gluttony section, let's put it that way. I can tell you, in retrospect, I wish I remembered more of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I remember being there, I remember doing it, but I don't remember enjoying it, you know? Mm-hmm. And that is a shame to me, because then it wasn't until later when we went back on with Through Glass that I actually got to enjoy that moment with those guys. You know, and of course we did Duality on there as well, you know? So, I mean, it was... you know, it's stuff like that that kind of reinforces my sobriety, you know, where I'm like, you know what, I want to be able to remember these kind of milestones, basically. You know, I mean, we just did Jimmy Kimmel and blew the roof off the place. Yep. Stone cold sober, and I loved every second of it.
Yep, that was just recently, actually.
Yeah, that was like, a month and a half ago, something like that.
Kind of a cool setup he's got, too, where you actually have the live audience and the stage and the lights and everything else, too.
It was cool, too, because we got to sneak all of our family in first and line them up in the front, Sweet. You know? So, like, here's my whole family. Ah! You know, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. You can actually hear me at the end when we were doing Say You'll Haunt Me say, come on, family, and they started doing the backups with me. It was awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But then his whole his studio audience is all like back behind, and they stayed for the whole thing, man. And there were a lot of people that I didn't even think knew of us, and they were just like, all right, yeah, it's not bad, it's pretty good.
That's a battle you've been fighting ever since 2002, really. I know locally here since 1993, but since the debut album came out, you've been sort of fighting that battle with the world.
Yeah.
Ever since that first album came out, really.
Slowly winning.
Yeah.
Slowly winning. But we knew it was going to be a lot of work, you know? I mean, when you go from something that is as massive as Slipknot really was, you know, to something that nobody really knew about, you know, nobody knew the history, nobody knew the credentials, basically. But we knew that coming out of the gate. So, I mean, as frustrating as it ever got, I always knew that we would get here, you know, and I'm not trying to compete with Slipknot in any form. We're just trying to do our own thing, you know, in a wholly different way, and hopefully get to a place where on some kind of level it's equal, you know, and I think we're really getting there, man. You know, third album, people have stopped saying side project. Mm-hmm. They're saying actual band, you know, and new kids are discovering us all the time, man. And it's weird. They're like, you're in Slipknot? I'm like, yeah. And the crazy thing is, I talk with Grohl all the time. There are people that didn't know he drummed in Nirvana. Okay? I mean, that's how new the fans are right now, you know? And so it's like, so it doesn't surprise me that people don't realize that I'm also in Slipknot. And it just means more and more and more, and just better music.
Think about it. The kid that just turned 21 this year was, 10, 11 years old when Stone Sour's debut album came out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that gives you some perspective, too.
Yeah, exactly. And he was itching his daddy's pants when we first got together. So, God, I'm dating myself horribly.
He's been at this for a little while.
I've been got a lot of dogs in the fire. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully everyone can hear the sarcasm in my voice. You know, that's gotten me in a lot of trouble, man. Like, people don't understand my sense of humor. So they automatically, it seems like they just listen to me and they go, he's very full of himself, isn't he? I was like, if you only knew, okay? I'm wearing the same jeans I've had on for 3 days. It's a nightmare at my house with the boy and the baby and the holy God.
It's a good thing you don't work in radio, Corey.
Well, I can smell what you're saying. You dressed very nicely for this, by the way. I just wanted to say, hey, thanks for showing up.
Dressed up just for the occasion. The greatest show on earth is LAZERfest. We're looking to break another record this year. Brought over 25,000 last year to the show, and with a Stone Sour Avenged Sevenfold co-headlining bill with tickets right now, just $37 plus fees at Ticketmaster. That's a pretty damn good ticket price. It is a good ticket price.
Seeing as you pay $200 and go see Lollapalooza, and maybe it'll show up.
Yeah, and maybe you'll like half the bands because you've heard of them.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the thing. With our show, we bring bands we play on the radio, bands you hear all the time, and you know, that's probably a blessing and a curse for the artists themselves.
You'll have that. But Queensryche's going to be here. That's going to be hot.
You know, if there's one band I'm super stoked for, you know, Stone Sour aside, it's Queensryche.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan of Jeff Tate anyway, and I think Queensryche are seriously one of the most underrated bands of all time.
Met those guys a long time ago, and I could say, man, all honesty, some of the coolest dudes I've ever met. Scott, the drummer, Jeff himself, so nice, man, and really, really cool. And you want to talk about making a dude's day. I bought Mindcrime the day it came out, okay? So I was like freaking out. I was like, do you know who the hell you are? You know, like total fanboy.
It's fun to have moments like that with artists that you've looked up to, and they're still doing their thing.
Yeah.
And then gives you hope, too. I mean, you've been doing this a while, but hey, what's to stop you from doing it another 20, 30 years, Corey?
Exactly, man. I mean, even with everything that's kind of happened in the last year and whatnot, I'm still optimistic, whether it means taking a break for a little bit, kind of getting the collective, spit together. I think there's definitely something to look forward to, and we'll just see what that is when it gets here, basically.
God bless you, Corey Taylor.
Oh, God bless you, Andy Hall.
Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you on May 15th as one of our headliners at LAZERfest.
Oh, yeah.